My father worked for the Australian government. My mother made dinner every night at 7 o'clock. We set the table, we sat down, we had dinner. A few years of that, my parents had a big falling out. They got divorced. My father went back to Australia without us, and my mom married a drug-addicted jazz musician, and we moved into his parents' basement.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was like the polar opposite. And from that point in my life, I basically became a street kid. My stepdad would have these guys over, like playing in a living room, these like, old-time New York jazz dudes, and talk about magic, like watching these guys blow their saxophones, sucking and blowing, hitting drums, playing pianos. Like, I would just roll around on the floor laughing, amazed, like in ecstasy at what they were doing, and I couldn't believe it. And I was just fascinated, and as soon as I got old enough, I got an instrument and just started playing, and I never stopped.
Some have called that the ignition. Like, you happened to fall into this man who set this environment for you to go, wow, like the world awoke for you.
And when I see a team really clicking, I get that same feeling as when I was a little kid. I'm amazed, And in anything, like a great painter, like when I see it, what human beings are capable of, I get that feeling, of when I was a little kid rolling on the floor when I saw those jazz musicians. So and I just wanted to be a jazz musician or a classical musician when I was a kid. And then come high school, the idea of having girlfriends became real paramount importance, so I went more in a rock direction.
How old were you when you moved to LA?
I was, when I moved to LA, I was 11.
Fairfax High School?
Fairfax High, Bancroft Junior High, Fairfax High School.
And they were, like, you found your...
Yeah, well, that's right. I met Anthony, who was the singer in my band. We became best friends, like, from the first day of 10th grade. And, other guys.
What was it? What made you guys best friends? Like, what was the...
There was this kid I used to kind of give a hard time to. And Anthony was burly in high school. And I had this kid in a headlock. He was my friend, but I had him in a headlock. And I was like, when you call a nuggie and you're rubbing knuckles in it? I had him in a headlock. And all of a sudden, this other kid came up to me, he was like, lay off him, I'll tear your face off. And it was Anthony. And I was like, whoa, this guy's kind of intense. It was like in the 70s, and everyone had like feathered long hair and skateboard.
Shampoo?
Shampoo. It was like, there was a 70s look. And I was like, didn't look like that at all. I was a real oddball. Like, everyone always called me a queer and stuff. I was just kind of a weird kid. And Anthony just looked really weird too, but really intimidating. And I was like, whoa, and I let go of my buddy. And then later that day, it was the first day of 10th grade, first day of high school. We were in driver's ed class together, and we got put next to each other. Our desks were next to each other. And the teacher said, if you write on the desk, you flunk out immediately. And he got up and went to the bathroom. And I leaned over to his desk and wrote, Anthony Kiedis was here, in a pen, and sat back. Like that.
Was he into music at the time?
Early hip hop, really. He went to see Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, and I think in '81. And he never thought that he could sing, but he heard that was the first rapping that anyone ever heard. It was the birth of hip hop. And he was like, I could rap. And I was like, great. And I decided playing funky bass lines, and he started rapping, and we started with Chili Peppers. Anthony and I were kind of bad kids. I mean, at a young age, we were, robbing houses and up to bad stuff, doing drugs. There were certain moments where I was like, this, if I stick to this, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
And I did, and here I am looking at the swell, you know. Like the thing I try to tell my kids, it's like, it's not always fun. But if you want to be good at something, you have to do it when it's not fun. Yeah. You got to get up and practice, and that's hard to teach. Yeah. Especially, I don't know, how you grew up and stuff, but for me, like I said, if I didn't work on something, I knew no one was giving me anything. Yeah. So I had that work ethic. And I also, I don't know, something in me, I like work. Even if it's like taking out the garbage, I'm getting it out there, I got it,
It's done.
Yeah.
Check it off the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had obviously a big vision and imagination for myself, and I always got this feeling when I didn't want to do it. Right. I was like, there's that feeling. That was if you give in, you'll never get there.
Exactly.
And so I always, whenever I got that feeling, and so college, lived with 5 other basketball players in a house, and whenever Sports Center would come on at 11 o'clock, everyone's just long day, practice, homework, nestling in. That was that was my alarm clock. I got to go back to the gym, and the manager let me in at 11 o'clock and shoot for 45 minutes or an hour.
Right.
Luckily, I had a roommate who was totally into it too, a teammate and roommate, and we'd go, if I didn't do that, there's a good chance that when I met my match or that moment, I would have, either shied away, failed,
Right.
not made it. Like you said, I rose to the challenges because I put the work in, and I never gave in a day.
I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I went to this wedding in New Hampshire with my girlfriend. We were up there for 4 days. It was beautiful, and we're walking around, and I was like, I'm not practicing.
I get the same anxiety. When I haven't worked out, I'm like itching in I just feel I'm uncomfortable.
And you want to keep your rhythm going. And that like, and another like huge thing of being good at anything is momentum.
Yeah.
Even like if I take a few weeks off and I don't play, I lose my momentum.
Yeah.
Then I got to kind of take a few days to get back going.
Get back in shape.
Just get what was normal 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And get to get back to so I can take the idea that I've been working on and add on another little piece to progress it through.
Absolutely.
So it's just always that desire of progress, and
It's like, you're tied to it.
and that's what I love, man. And that's what I love, especially like Kobe. It's another guy I've watched his whole career very closely.
Yeah.
I mean, and even when he was younger and everyone's like, he's arrogant, he's selfish, all this stuff, I'm like, yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
But the craftsmanship is off the hook.
Yeah.
And I know that guy ain't out partying and he's not out he's not caring about, maybe he's egotistical because he wants to be the best basketball player on earth and he's young and he doesn't know how to channel it right yet in order to uplift everyone, but he'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
And the craftsmanship and the dedication and the work ethic, I'm drawn to it, man. I love it, I respect it. You know?
Not everyone likes Kobe because he can be abrasive and he can be a pain in the ass. I always say you can't take the good without the bad.
Yeah.
You gotta realize there's a reason he's so good. It's because he's uncompromising and this is where I'm going and I don't give a fuck what any of you say. I'm going here.
Yeah.
So.
And come, if you're not coming.
Right, see you later.
I like it.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
When they had that the Shaq Kobe feud in those years, I took Kobe's side the entire time. Because I always thought, and Shaq's a great basketball player, don't get me wrong. 3 titles to the Lakers and yay. But he I just thought he was political with the media. I could see him, he knew what to say, and Kobe, he didn't care.
You knew one guy wasn't sitting on his ass.
I knew one guy wasn't sitting on his ass, I knew one guy wasn't sugarcoating or pretending to be something that he wasn't.
Right. Yeah.
100%.